Shalom, shalom. All honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadas. We should be live. Let's get it going. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadas. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers at Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahushua Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which is given to him by the mighty, mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahushua Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwa. We one day closer to the kingdom. Now, we just gonna, this is your brother Hadab Yarbad, back with another camp. And we're gonna go off the events that just happened this past week. Each day, the Lord is showing his hand. Look at that, hypersonic missiles rain down. They trying to say Trump rejecting the request of the Israelis to get assistance from the U.S. We're already using their air bases in Iraq, using their airspace. So you getting help. You already had help when they lured them Iranians into them peace talks for their nuclear program. After they told you that they would drop down to 3.6 enrichment, but they would not go to zero. And then y'all said, oh no, y'all got to go to zero, or else y'all in violation. And then the IAEA came out and said they was in violation. And what was the end result? Thursday night going into Friday morning, the Israelis started attacking the Iranians. Now, when they was attacking them on the first night, they killed over 78 civilians. So when the Iranians retaliated, it killed like 3 people the first night, which was Friday. All of a sudden, the Israelis crying foul, saying, oh, y'all crossed the red line. Y'all done killed civilians. But you had just killed 78 of their civilians. And you targeted military leaders and scientists. You have killed 14 scientists so far. So like I've been saying through all my lessons since I started my street ministry, there shouldn't be nobody that have sympathy for any Edomite, a so-called white man, especially out of the house of Amalek, when they get touched or put to sleep, because you have put over 60,000 Palestinians to sleep. You're committing genocide right now. Even when they bombed Iran, they still continue to slaughter the people in the Gaza Strip and in Palestine. So let me start off. Let's get a scripture first. Let's go to 1 Peter 5. This is for the house of Israel, right? The elect. 1 Peter 5 and 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, and the person that plays the role of the devil on earth, if you do not know, he's the modern day white man. In the Holy Scriptures, their name is Esau Edom, or the Idumeans, right? More importantly, the ones causing most of the mayhem, because they are maniacs, are the Amalekites, the house of Amalek, out of the house of Esau Edom. 1 Peter 5 and 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? So, they started off saying they was trying to target or limit or disrupt the Iranians' nuclear program. Then that turned to them by Saturday. Now, by Friday night, going into Saturday, they started bombing the infrastructure. They hit an oil depot, right, in Iran. And what the Iranians do, turn right around and hit their oil depot in Haifa. See, now all of a sudden, these Israelis are shocked because their buildings are being destroyed. Well, you've been destroying buildings in the Gaza Strip. You've been clearing out land in the West Bank. You destroy buildings in southern Lebanon and in Beirut, their capital. You destroyed buildings in Syria. You destroyed buildings in Yemen. You're also destroying buildings right now as we speak in Iran. So when you get touched, don't try to have the world act like you the innocent, because everybody's seeing it. They saying right now reports that the Israelis are the most hated, unrecognized state around the world. But guess who's running close behind them at 2, about to tie their ass? The Americans. Everybody tired of this propaganda, right? It's a lot. Now, let me go to this. We'll get one more scripture before we start with the news that's going on in America, right? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, 39th chapter. I'm going to start at 19 first. The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. So the little secret plots that y'all got, them Americans and them Israelis, for the Greater Israel Project, we're going to read that too. But first I want to get these articles on what happened over here in America. Sedition among men. You got an Edomite maniac on the loose. They still looking for him right now. He didn't pop a couple of politicians up in Minnesota. We're going to get that article. The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. He seeth from everlasting to everlasting, and there is nothing wonderful before him. So, just like judgment must start first at the house of Israel, meaning with the Native Americans, so-called African Americans, and Latinos, judgment coming too for these heathen nations. And the Lord seeing everything that these Edomites do, and they will not escape judgment. Let's drop down. Ecclesiastes 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Right? You got new earthquakes, new fresh round of earthquakes this week from the Lord. New fresh round of storms. You have flooding in Indonesia, some parts of Africa, and in parts of America. We're going to see if we can find it, right? Let's get to the first article. Because, like I just read, we'll read it again. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. All this coming from the Lord. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire, you see that? With wildfire season is beginning, right? Canada, they hit the wildfires, right? Hail, all throughout the southern states and with Midwest. We had tornadoes, hailstorms, death. All you gotta do is look for your average Edomite. You'll find some death, right? You got a Edomite now that they looking for up in Minnesota. They say he targeting the Democrats. And now you got the goats, the Amalekites. They continue with their little warpath, right? So now they didn't. Let's count that. The Gaza Strip, the West Bank. We just count that as one area. Yemen. So that's 2. Syria, 3. Lebanon, 4. Now Iran. In 5 different countries, they unleashing their wrath of death on people, right? Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts, they had some kind of, I forgot if I can find that article. Some beast sucked somebody up. I had to look that up. But let's go and get to this. Hold on. Minnesota Representative Portman and husband killed. Senator Hoffman and wife wounded in politically motivated shooting. Governor Walz says. Now, you need to look up Governor Walz. He ain't right either. All these Edomites. They perverse. Let me get that Isaiah 19. Minnesota State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed, and State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were wounded in politically motivated shootings early Saturday. Governor Tim Walz said. Authorities also identified a suspect who is still at large. Yeah, you know why he's still at large? Because he's an Edomite. Hortman, 55, and her husband, Mark, 58, were shot in their Brooklyn Park home. They sold the house. Oh, they live in lavishly. They live in lavishly. They just politicians, though. They live in lavishly, though. They had a nice house. It was nice. Hortman, 55, and her husband, 58, were shot in their Brooklyn Park home, while Hoffman, 60, and his wife, Yvette, were shot about 5 miles away in their Chaplin home. Investigators say they believe the suspect was dressed in a manner to appear like a police officer. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office say the Hortmans each died from multiple gunshot wounds. Representative Hortman was pronounced dead at the scene, while her husband died at North Memorial Health in Robbinsdale. In a press conference on Saturday afternoon, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans said Senator Hoffman is out of surgery and stable, but described his injuries as very serious. His wife's condition is unclear. Hortman, who leaves behind 2 children, was a member of the Democratic Party who represented Minnesota House District 34B. Hoffman, also a Democrat, represents Minnesota State District 34. Hoffman and his wife have 1 daughter. A family member said Yvette Hoffman shielded her daughter from the gunman. Oh, well, that's good. Well, guess what? You guys got a history of going around separating families, eliminating people, assassinating people, right? So now the violence is turned on you, and it's a problem. So also yesterday you had the No King's Day protest nationwide. Let's get something from that right quick. Let's get something for that. Shalak. Because as the elder apostles and the other brothers of GMS been telling you, 2nd Ezra 15 is in full effect. I'm going to start at 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. We see how that going on right now. We see how that going on right now in the world, right? You got the war in Ukraine, the war between Iran and Israel. Israel versus everybody. They come over here and be a Jake. You know how Jakes be walking around them little shirts? St. Louis versus everybody. Detroit versus everybody. That's what them Israelis, them Amalekites need to put on. Israel versus everybody. Really? Shalaki. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, brother, thank you. Appreciate it.
Repeat that. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works off the field. Right? So like I just was saying, you got wars. Started by who? Not the so-called African Americans, Latinos, or Native Americans. So who is the cancer on the earth? You got Edomites fighting in Ukraine. Edomites of the house of Amalek, like I just said, fighting from the Israelis. The unrecognized state of Israel. An apartheid state at that. A pariah state also. Look that up. They are not even recognized by the UN, the ICC, International Criminal Courts. Got a warrant out for Netanyahu, but yet he's still roaming around. Just started a whole new war with them Iranians, right? So he bombing, like I just said. He got 5 fronts going on. The Israelis say it's 7. We're going to see if America jump in with them. They already allow them to use their airspace, right? For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And let's get down to the point. Shalak. We jump down. I'm going to jump down to 14. The point going to be in 16. Second Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. What's going on right now between them Iranians and them Israelis? See, at first, them Israelis was just bombing the people over in Palestine. They've been oppressing them since 1948. So for over 77 years, they've been over there indiscriminately torturing, killing, assassinating certain leaders. See, they just took out 16 scientists in Iran, right? So, since October, we just go from October the 7th, 2023. They then inflicted pain, death, and destruction on the people of Palestine, saying that they going at Hamas, even though once upon a time they funded Hamas, right? And then it just came out that they was paying other terrorists to go at Hamas in the Gaza Strip, right? They trying to clear out the West Bank. We're gonna get a scripture for that too. Then they started bombing southern Lebanon, saying they were trying to get rid of Hezbollah, right? Hezbollah was only created so they could protect the people of Lebanon from who? The Israelis. They've been bombing folks since they got over there, 1948, right? Then they start bombing Syria. Then they start bombing Yemen because Ansarallah jumped into the fray, saying y'all ain't finna just keep fucking them people up over there in Palestine. We finna help them out. The Muslim world need to stand up, right? So it looks like it's finna be these Muslims against who? The maniac regime. Since they always love regime change, there need to be a regime change over there. But guess who's gonna do it? The Almighty Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let's continue. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall fight, Shalaki, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's going on right now. They didn't think them Iranians was gonna retaliate like how they retaliate. Retaliate. They thought they was gonna lay down like the people of Syria and them Lebanese did, Hezbollah. When they go around fucking people up, then nobody responded. Just like in 1967, in that 6-day war, when they took out the Egyptian Air Force, they just bombed all their little airstrips. Nobody responded. You know why? Because they was afraid of America. Nobody afraid of America no more. Y'all biggest ally is weak itself, right? They go to point from the article I just read. Because this Esau's house is divided. We're going to get that. You got an Edomite roaming around Minnesota. He just popped some politicians, right? But there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Now, another illustration is how their house is divided. You got George Soros, the owners of Walmart, funded no King's Day protests throughout the United States yesterday. And this was on the day that DJ, the king, he said he the king, man. He the king. It was his birthday and it was the 250th year of their military or something. But they ain't been telling y'all that the U.S. military been taking L's, L after L. But the military industrial complex, they keep getting paid. So you walk around, you see an average Edomite, you be thinking to yourself, how does young Edomite got all this pay? He probably work for a military contract. He probably is a military contractor, but they don't want to get all the pay. What? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So since George Soros and them, they started this little, let's protest nationwide, start little riots here and there, like they got going on in LA. It's only gonna lead to martial law. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Look George Soros up. He did the same thing to them Europeans. That's why Europe on the verge of collapsing, the EU. And now I got another little thing that happened over in the EU with the country of Moldova, right? They had the Christians doing a little peaceful demonstration because they don't want that the wine that America has, which is how can I say this? They trying to promote the alternative lifestyle over there, like how they promote it over here. You know, ways that are unseemly to a man. Hmm? And things that are unseemly for a woman too. They try to promote that over there in Moldova. They was having a peaceful Orthodox Christian protest, then the police showed up and started beating on the priests. And then guess who came out? The EU had the nerve to come out and say it's all Russia's fault. So you see how these narratives that these Edomites are presenting, they're not being accepted no more worldwide. Everybody tired of that. They have drunk of the wine of fornication. They hurt. They mad too. Well, because of their pride, the cities, I'm gonna drop down to 18, 2nd Edges 15 to 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's what they're trying to create over here in America. That's why I lay it off with be sober and vigilant, because the devil is seeking whom he may devour. Right? They down to crunch time. Just like all the other people on the little podcast saying, the only reason why the Israelis did that little airstrike, because they run out of desperation. They desperate. Now, they want a regime change in Iran when there should be a regime change in Israel with them Israelis, like I was saying. But don't worry about it. The Most High Power gonna change all that shit. Let's get some articles. Hold on, let me get one more. Let me get another look. Like it is right here. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5. For yourselves know perfectly, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So DJ, he ran his presidency on, I'm gonna be the man of peace. I'm gonna bring peace. He said he can get peace between Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours. Remember, that shit didn't work. Then they said they fraudulently, I can't say fraudulently. They put that 48 fake out on them Iranians and said, you know what, let's have some peace talks for y'all to stop y'all nuclear program. All the while, they was lulling them to sleep while them Israelis was preparing to strike their ass. So like Israel, it's kind of human out here today. Right? Just like over here in America, it's soon to come. They got a little peaceful protest, but then they start turning violent. They got the Marines over in LA right now. Right? When they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Because they fired on them on Iran. They took them by surprise. Now, everybody, I'm thinking to myself, how could y'all be fooled by that? You know how they get down. With that 2nd Maccabees 15 to 10. They truce breakers. They treaty breakers. Man, they come up, they'll tell you some shit. We having peace. Let's be peaceful with each other. They're broadcasting on the news. We peaceful with it. But all the time, they got the CIA, the Mossad, they little secret intelligence, fucking y'all up from within. Same way how they just attacked Iran. Same thing they did with Ukraine, and they went over there and bombed the people on deep into Russia, right? That's why I lay it off. 5. Therefore, we got down to 6. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. Because you haven't noticed, only ones that's making noise or even informing the people are the men of the Lord. Your preacher ain't. You went to church today, Sunday too. They went to church today. What is it? Father's Day, another man-made ass holiday. Another man-made ass holiday. Father's Day. Everybody named Mama went on. This is that day. What's going on in the world? Do you not see that the Lord is judging this earth in which He made? Let's continue. Another earthquake. Along with these fake protests that they set up, got the fake protests going on, got the war escalating over in the Western Asia, what they call the Middle East. You got turmoil still over in Ukraine. Now you got Moldova right there by Ukraine, and they trying to blame the actions of their police on Russia. The EU is. EU about to fall. So like, hold on one second. Let's get this. They got 3 quake strike fault zones. This from the 14th, yesterday. If you follow seismic activity in Missouri, you may have noticed a slight uptick in quakes along the New Madrid fault line over the past several weeks. They hit a crescendo Saturday morning as there have been rapid-fire series of 3 quakes in just the past 24 hours in that region. Now, could this be the heart machine that these Edomites came up with? Because they've been, like I've been saying, they've been talking about the New Madrid fault line and the fault line right off the west coast along Oregon since the beginning of the year. So either they're going to try to assist in forwarding that earthquake to happen, or they're just going to keep talking about it. But I believe Esau up to something, as usual. And it's always demonic shit. None of these quakes will be considered anything other than minor, right? The largest of the 3 tremors was only 2.2 magnitude shaker near Howardsville, Missouri. So it's been going on, like I say, since the beginning of this year. Meanwhile, Jake, especially in this city, right? You had the protests going on in one area of St. Louis. And then off Washington, you had the local, I guess the nigga's a celebrity or whatever, that the young people like. Some nigga named Drewski came to St. Louis, right? And by the end of the night, with the event that where he was at, somebody was shot and killed. They found this cat slumped over in his car. Then somebody else got hit by a car right in the same little area, right? The Lord taking out people every day. Let's get back to these articles. So we got another increase in justice system failing. I don't even want to read that article. Let me get something over. Because of how these Edomites getting down. And that's over here in America with George Soros and them trying to start insurrection over here, sedition among men. Right? These people, man, they maniacs. Wisdom of Solomon. Go to the 2nd chapter. Wisdom of Solomon. Now, this applied to the wicked elite of the house of Israel, but it also applied to these Edomites, right? The so-called modern-day white man. Wisdom of Solomon 2. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. That's where they erred at. They erred not knowing the scriptures. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we have never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the movement of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft earth. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. And let me drop down to the point. This is the mindset of these Edomites. I'm gonna go to 7 first. I'll jump to 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present. Let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. And let no flower of the spring pass by us. Meaning that they're going to take what they want from these females. They're going to take it, right? Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part or our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. They name their houses and lands after themselves, right? So this is our portion, and our lot. And our lot is this. Now, here come the 2 points, verse 10 and 11. Let us oppress the poor righteous man, which they have done to us, so-called African American, Native American, and Latino. We are the tail. We are the meat of the earth, if you don't know that. Just look around, get out yourself and your little world that you got between you and your little husband and your kids or whatever the fuck you got going on, and look at the world as a whole. Who being oppressed? And who doing the oppressing? Like I said, the unrecognized state of Israel is occupying them Palestinians. They've been doing it since 1948. So for 77 years, they've been over there fucking them people up. In 2023, 2 years ago, they revolted, but they called terrorists. So the greatest terrorists on earth are the Edomites. Let us oppress the poor righteous man, meaning the Israelites. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. And if you ain't noticed, Edomites don't care who they slaughter. Old women, old men, kids, babies. It don't make no fucking difference. If you in their way, they gonna kill you. And then if you kill one of them, they gonna play the victim and say, what have you done? You killed one of us, like they just told the Iranians. They crossed the red line by killing civilians. You kill civilians first. You been killing civilians. You killed some other day over in Palestine. But when somebody kill you, it's a problem. You see how that narrative ain't working no more? Don't nobody care if y'all get fucked up now, because y'all fucking everybody up. Why should anybody care about what happened in World War II when World War II was initiated by you? The Edomites, right? Shalak. They go to point, because they got these decrees. Let our strength be the law of justice, but that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Now, what do they tell them Iranians? The IAEA said, y'all enriching uranium. We got to bomb y'all. Not telling the public that the Iranians have documents on the Israeli nuclear program. So the Israelis have been the aggressor in that region since they came over there in 1948. Why ain't nobody stepped up and said, hey man, y'all can't handle nuclear weapons. Y'all dangerous just like them Americans. Y'all the only one that use a weapon of mass destruction on somebody. America. Only one indiscriminately killing people, the Israelis. They assassinate people all the time. And now, all of a sudden it went from they want to hinder the Iranians' nuclear program to they want a whole regime change now. That's why they over there fighting these folks. They want a regime change because they won't let them do what they want to do, right? This the thought of the Edomite, the modern day white man. Let me go around and oppress everybody, kill anybody I want. And y'all say it's cool. But when somebody kill me, I'm gonna play a victim. I'm gonna get the crown like a bitch. Like a woman, so like. This is what they doing. We in Jacob's trouble. This is what they doing to the northern kingdom right now. Soon to come to the southern kingdom. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. Correct. Y'all wicked. Israel supposed to be striving for righteousness. Edomites, they just wicked. Maniacs, man. He upbraided us with our offending the law and objected to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High power, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. We do. The Israelites, the ones just standing up over here in the shadow of the valley of death. Like you did, brother. He was made, verse 14, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 14. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion, because we're supposed to separate it ourselves. We ain't supposed to be acting like these heathen nations. But as you can see, 2/3 of our nation, they love what these Edomites doing. They have no problem with it. Just like you said, so that means during the time when we was in captivity, when we was in slavery, they didn't have no problems with being slaves. They love this shit. Why? Because they got to do things they wanted to do that was opposite of what the Lord told us to do. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. Yes, you are. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, and he maketh his boast that the Most High power is his Father. So if they the people that's supposed to be the children of the Lord, why they don't never boast of that? Because their actions not lining up with the scriptures. So that would be for a Christian and every other heathen around the world. Y'all do err not knowing the scriptures. When the children of Israel come back to the homeland, it's going to be peace. There ain't going to be no more fight. All you got to do is read the scriptures. Right? Let us see if his words be true. This the thought of these Edomites. And let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High power, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. That's what's going to happen. The elect of the house of Israel are going to be saved from out of the hands of these wicked-ass Edomites, Elamites, modern-day Indians, the Ammonites, the modern-day Japanese, the Moabites, the modern-day Chinese, right? The Ishmaelites, the modern-day Arabs. We're going to be delivered from the four corners of the earth, the elect of the house of Israel. So if you are not an Israelite through blood, according to the flesh, as it reads in Romans 9, it's not going to fare well for you on this earth. So for an average so-called African-American Christian to say, that doctrine is not right, that's a cult. Those people are wrong. Shit, and y'all right? We finna find out. Let's continue with the articles. See, they are not in trouble as other men, man. For this past week now, we're just going through the week. Remember now you had a little Greta Thunberg tried to come with a flotilla to bring aid to the people of the Gaza Strip. Them Israelis captured their ass in international waters, which is illegal, kidnapped, and then deported their ass. Did they get in trouble? Let me see. Let's get a verse. Did they get in trouble? No, they did not. Go to the book of Psalms. Son of perdition has been revealed. Psalm 73 and 1. You see something. It's Psalm 73. Psalm of Asaph, 133. For I was envious at the foolish who are the wicked of our nation and the wicked with the rest of the heathens, the rest of the nations, right? For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. So if you're an average Israelite, if you're walking around just like how Esdras was when he was walking through Babylon, like, look at how these people just blatantly disrespecting the laws of the Lord, but they living prosperously. That's because they wicked. And you got 2/3 of our people that done drunk they little Kool-Aid, they little wine of fornication. And they love it to be so. They love this lifestyle. They love the fact that they can use and abuse people to gain power. So I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. But there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They go to point. So these Edomites worldwide, especially these Amalekites, right? You can't say nothing about them. You can't even say, or even mention their name, or else they're going to say you anti, right? Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. But the Lord allowing them Iranians to open up a can of whoop ass on y'all ass now, right? Right? Now y'all feeling how these other nations feel that y'all been disrupting and torturing. You taking heat, right? Now you seeing death, even though it's light. It's gonna increase though. But now you getting damage to your little infrastructure over in the unrecognized state of Israel, right? They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Violence covered them like a garment. All you gotta do is look worldwide. Who are the ones doing all this mass killing, mass bombings, creating these weapons of mass destruction, ballistic missiles, huh? Bunker busting bombs? Who doing that? It ain't the men of the Lord. It ain't no so-called African American, Native American, or Latino. Who is causing all destruction on the earth? Division. Esau, Edom. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Let me get this. Because it's all a plot. It's all a plan, man. It's all is going in with a WEF, the World Economic Forum, for the New World Order, right? So let me get this. Same scripture. But first I want to do Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahweh knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, it's already been established that the physical counterpart of Satan on earth is these modern day white folks, right? And if you can't tell, like I just said, they got an Edomite, George Soros, from the EU, from Europe. He paid for the migrants to come over to the EU. Then they turned around and did the same thing during the Biden administration when they let all the migrants come up from the South. Not just Israelites, but from other nations too. They ain't trying to deport them. They only focus on Jake. It's Jacob's trouble. Right? Now, you got George Soros and the Walmart heirs, meaning they got billionaires funding the disruption of the politicians in America, right? They telling Trump, you ain't no king. So that's the Democrats against the Republicans. And now you got a cat up in, I forgot his name. He's an Edomite though. Up in Minnesota, he just started targeting Democratic leaders. They say he has 70 people on his list. Killers. But yet, who is the picture of the vile person on earth? The thug, the average thug nigga, the average thug Israelite. They put his picture up. Don't put their picture up though, right? And if Satan cast out Satan, verse 26, Matthew 12, 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Let me read that again. Matthew 12 and 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? It can't. Because guess what the Lord did? Let me get this. What's the Old Testament? me get this right quick. Message to Egypt. Through the spirit of this country, America, aka Babylon the Great, in the scriptures is also called Egypt. Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud. That's a big chariot, baby. That's a chariot. A swift one, that thing. And shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, which is going on right now, American against American. And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the traumas, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. The playbook y'all been using, y'all the world dominance, y'all go around and do regime changes at will. That shit's coming to an end, right? They go to point 4. This for DJ. He the one that said his king's birthday was yesterday. They having picnics on the White House lawn and shit. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord. It's DJ. And a first king shall rule over them. He called himself king, right? Saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. And the water shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. That's all you gotta do. Type in, are the rivers drying up in America? Lakes? They have been since Biden was in office. So like it, let's keep on going. We drop down to 14. Isaiah 19:14. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So, the little playbook they ran. You got Trump. He came out and said the U.S. did not have any involvement in the bombings that the Israelis just conducted on Iran. Because they in day 3 of their strikes on each other. Then he turned around that same night and said, y'all should have took the deal. That's why they unleashing all this hell on y'all. This is before Iran responded. He was bragging on the capabilities of the American weapons that they sold to them Israelis to use on the Iranians, to use on the Palestinians, to use on anybody in that region. Because I'm finna read the Greater Israel Project next, right? Read that again. For Yahweh, Isaiah 19:14, for Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every way, in every work thereof, Shalaki, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Now, if you can't tell, a lot of companies been closed, right? Because of them tariffs, the docks been shut down. So, and you got Pete Hegseth that said that America's ultimate goal is to go to war with China. I don't know why the fuck they think they can keep going to war with everybody. You have not won a war. I can't think of the last time you won one, right? You're not successful in Desert Storm. Twice you went over there and went to war with them people in Iraq, and you hit them with weapons, chemical weapons too, right? Depleted uranium. But did you take over the country? Nope, you failed in that. Them Iranians, they hip to y'all playbook just like everybody else around the world. Same thing you did to Libya. You told Muammar Gaddafi, Gaddafi, hey man, get rid of your nuclear program and we'll be at peace with you. He said, all right, I'm gonna get rid of my nuclear program. As soon as he did that, what happened? Them Americans invaded his ass. You gonna pay for that. So, ain't no work gonna be doing over here, right? Only people that's gonna be working is the military industrial complex. Whoever used to clean up shit. Because now, like they saying on the news, the Israelis are in shock. Now, they ain't got no problem bombing nobody else, killing kids. But as soon as they buildings got hit, now all of a sudden they shook. Ain't that amazing? Let's see what the overall goal of these Israelis is. Pull this up. They know they already changed some of it because they in fear of the other nations around surrounding them, right? The term Greater Israel refers to a political concept, not an officially recognized state. See, they not an officially recognized state. Don't nobody recognize them. You ain't just had a meeting and said, y'all supposed to stop the cease. I mean, y'all supposed to stop treatment of how y'all been doing them people in the Gaza Strip immediately. You think they stopped? The next day they killed 58 more people. They just killed some more people today. So that war ain't stopped. And they still not letting aid in. They've been luring people to the aid site and bombing the aid sites. So again, tell me who the wicked on earth is. The term Greater Israel refers to a political concept, not an officially recognized state, advocating for the expansion of Israel's borders to include territories beyond the current internationally recognized boundaries. Ain't nobody internationally recognizing the boundaries but America. Everybody else say y'all ain't supposed to be in the land y'all at now. Knowing y'all from fucking Germany and goddamn Poland. Key aspects of the Greater Israel concept. Hold on. Key aspects of the Greater Israel concept. Territorial expansion. Proponents envision a larger Israel encompassing areas beyond the current borders, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip. They already fucking them two places up, right? Parts of Jordan, Syria. They Golan Heights. They've been occupying that since 1967. That's part of Syria. What do the Americans say? Average, everyday Israelites say? That don't got nothing to do with them. They ain't in their world. Jake world filled with following and kicking it. They ready for it's Father's Day. They having fucking Father's Day cookouts right now. I bet you. People going to Father's Day dinner, celebrate some bullshit made up by these devils, right? Proponents envision a larger Israel encompassing areas beyond the current borders, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, parts of Jordan, Syria, right? They've been bombing Syria. Like I said, they occupying the Golan Heights. Lebanon, they've been bombing southern Lebanon. They've been bombing the capital too, Beirut. And potentially even parts of Egypt and Iraq. So where do we say Iran got an expansion, greater expansion plan? They don't. Religious and historical claims. Here they go, this fraudulence. The concept draws on interpretations of biblical texts and historical claims to land, particularly in areas of Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. When they quote the Bible, they don't quote the Bible, right? Because Netanyahu made a statement. When they first did their first bombings over in Iran, they said in the Bible, Moses tells us to be courageous and strong. He wasn't talking to you, motherfucker. He was talking to us. Talking to the Israelites when they was going into the homeland, right? Because we had to fight for that land. Because the Lord displaced the Canaanites, who were Hamites, because of the wickedness they was doing. And right now, as we speak, this is fairy month, right? And over in Israel, them Israelis, they got the biggest fairy parade of all this month. But they ain't been having it because what? They at war. Now, how could that be? They celebrating all the fairies in the land, in that unrecognized state of Israel. And yet, y'all still believe that they the children of the Lord. So they get to walk around without impunity. That's why I read Psalm 73. They are not in trouble as other men. The concept draws on the interpretations of biblical texts. Man, please. Settler colonialism, right? The expansionist ideology is linked to the settler colonial project. Who the colonists? The Edomites. It's starting to rain, is right? Settler colonialism. The expansionist ideology is linked to the settler colonial project with the establishment of Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories as a key element. A clean break policy document. Some analysts point to a 1996 policy document called a clean break. A new strategy for securing the realm as a blueprint for Israel's regional strategy, which aligns with the greater vision. Let's see if they got some. The Yenin Plan. The Yenin Plan is an article published in February 1982 in the Hebrew journal Kavanah, meaning directions, entitled A Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. So they've been planning this type shit. The article was penned by Oded Yenim, reputedly a former advisor to Ariel Sharon, a former senior official with the Israeli Foreign Ministry and journalist for the Jerusalem Post. It is cited as an early example of characterizing political projects in the Middle East in terms of logic and sectarian divisions. It has played a role in both conflict resolution analysis by scholars who regard it as having influenced the formulation of policies adopted by the American administration under George Bush. And also in conspiracy theories, according to which the article either predicted or planned major political events in the Middle East since the 1980s, including the 2003 invasion of Iraq and the overthrowing of Saddam Hussein, the Syrian Civil War, and the rise of the Islamic State. Conspiracy theories further claim that the plan was introduced to the U.S. by the members of the Israeli Institute for Advanced Strategic and Political Studies. It was adopted by the Bush administration following 9/11, claimed to be a Mossad false flag. Oh, ain't no claim. They had something to do with it. Because when you check it out, those buildings that got destroyed in New York wasn't no so-called 48 fakers, the ish people, one of those small hats in that building at the time. With the goal of furthering U.S. interests in the region, while simultaneously advancing the alleged ish dream of greater Israel from the Nile to the Euphrates. Let's get some more scriptures. That's what it's all about, the greater Israel project, right? Let me get this, Isaiah 10. Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed, right? They turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. They already did that, right? Be demonized worldwide. That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Let's get one better than me. Keep going to it. Because that's all they doing. I just read in the project they had been going on since the 1980s. It's 2025. Now they trying to finally do it. And they've been doing it. Woe to them, woe to oppressors, Micah 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, and they covered fields. The Greater Israel Project. That's what they up to, y'all. They ain't worried about no damn nuclear program them Iranians got. They want to expand. And they covered fields and take them by violence. You see what they doing? Bombing, restricting aid to the people at the Gaza Strip, which creates what? Famine and pestilence. Right? Revelation 6 and 4. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh. This is one of my favorite scriptures. Micah 2 and 3. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil. Hey, they still going at them, the Iranians say they finna up their escalation with the missiles they fired over at them Israelis. And we praying for the continual destruction of the unrecognized state of Israel. Some of their buildings get damaged. As you have done, it shall be done unto thee. We're going to get that too. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family, who? The Idumeans, the modern day white man, do I devise an evil from which you shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. Let me get this word, because this is another one of my favorites, but I can't stand it. God bless you. Isaiah 14 and 4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Who is that? That's Donald, that's DJ, baby. He just said it himself. His birthday was yesterday. He letting y'all know he's king. Bet. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? All these regime changes y'all been doing with these other nations that's weaker than y'all. We gonna see how y'all fare against these Iranians. They ain't that weak. And guess who? They backed by who? The Russians. That's Ezekiel 38th chapter. Right? 7th verse. He gonna be a guard unto them. We just wait for that one little moment they gonna fuck up. They gonna earn. Because look, they tried to start something between them Pakistanis and them Indians. And now I'm believing, just me speaking as a man, that plane that went down that Thursday, that was nothing but a distraction. How they got, that plane went down, which is Boeing, that's gonna hurt their business. Hopefully they fall off. All these businesses in America, I just read it, Isaiah, 19th chapter, ain't nobody finna be working, right? Now, that seemed to be like a distraction, just like these little protests, a distraction for what them Israelis was finna do to them Iranians. Right? They had a Boeing go down, and the death toll still going up. The plane went in the earth 30 seconds before it crashed into a medical building with students in it, right? So, of course, they could try to suit the people, the Elamites up, to say, oh, it was the Pakistanis that did something to that plane. If you know what I'm gonna say, it was the Mossad. I'm blaming everything on who? The fucking Israelis. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The hour have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered. Right? But the Lord's gonna check y'all out their power seat. The whole earth is at rest and it's quiet. They break forth into singing. It's for future. It's a future prophecy. Because as we see right now, I just named 5 different areas where them Israelis was bombing. And then you got the Russians bombing the Ukrainians, Ukrainians bombing the Russians, right? You got the Pakistanis and the Indians going, had a little couple of skirmishes. And then you got Pete Hegseth that say that their overall goal is to go to war with China, America. So everywhere you go, they disrupting the earth, right? The whole earth is at rest and it's quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. This is gonna be a future of singing, right? The earth gonna be at rest, right? This is what the Lord got for you though, Esau Edom. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Because the Lord finna weaken y'all ass. He's stretching y'all thin right now. Eliminate y'all little key people in y'all little armies, the Edomite armies, from them Amalekites to them Temanites, right? All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Verse 12, the elite of Esau, George Soros now, they playing this, the little protest arise over here in America. But guess what? The Lord got something for y'all. All y'all. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Who do regime changes, coups, all over the world? Edomites. No matter what nation they come from, Great Britain, America, France, Germany, Spain, the unoccupied, the unrecognized state of Israel, it don't make no difference. But thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High power. That's why they're trying to come to the New World Order and give that RFID chip, right? So they can have control over all humanity. Everybody gonna be their slave, right? Let's drop down to 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee. That's how you know the devil is a man on earth. He's an adversary to the Lord. And who is the only adversary to the Lord on earth that's being righteous? These wicked ass Edomites. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Who doing that on earth? Who institute regime changes, coups whenever they want to, color revolutions whenever they want to? The so-called modern day white man, right? That made the world as a wilderness. Who bombing everywhere? Who doing mass deforestation? It ain't no niggas. Hmm? They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Hmm? You got political prisoners worldwide, especially in the house of Israel, the so-called Native Americans, so-called African Americans, and Latinos in prison. Ain't let them out yet, right? Let's get to the point. And I'm ending on this. Israel. Y'all better start watching what's going on worldwide, because we in the midst of World War III. But this is what the Lord got for these so-called modern-day white men. Prepare slaughter, Isaiah 21:14-21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Because every time y'all fill up a city, or even create a city, what is it filled with? Abominations and wickedness. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon, modern day America, the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh. I will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. The besom of destruction. It's the nuclear weapons. So eventually, in the very near future, as soon as they say we got this RFID chip, everybody needs to take it, because we're gonna try to get the world back in order. Because they creating all this chaos, right? That's where you're gonna see them ICBMs come over from Russia, China, NATO. Everybody gonna turn on the horde, the great horde that sitteth up on many waters. Because very soon, them Israelis, they taking too much heat, right? They begging America to jump into the war right now and help them against some Iranians. But America right now saying, no, we do that, they're gonna start bombing our military bases. And that's what's gonna happen. You ain't gonna prevent it. Well, we might as well get this to end it. Because that's what it's all for, the controversy of Zion. Right? Joel 3:2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Hawashaphat. That's what they call in the Middle East, right? Western Asia. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and part of my land. And have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and have sold a girl for wine that they may drink. They didn't have it to them Israelis. They can't bring up none in the scriptures to verify why they say they them people. But yet, because of unrighteous decrees and the laws that they made up, just like I read in Wisdom of Solomon, 2nd chapter, that's why they get to do the things they do. Now I just thought of something else. Wait a minute. Let's go to 1 Samuel and see what's in 8. Nope. Hold on. It's like Israel, I mean, it on this. Like Israel, let me see something. Hold on, let me just do it like this. We read this out of 1 Samuel 15th chapter, 2nd verse. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel. It's the modern day small hats that's over there right now. That's why they call the unrecognized state of Israel. That's the house of Amalek, if you do not know, of the house of Edom. 1 Samuel 15:2. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now you had that boy Netanyahu say, remember what Moses told us, be strong and courageous. Your people was not slaves in Egypt for 430 years. There's no kind of artifact showing that fact, but yet you get to keep quoting the Old Testament like that, what you call the Torah and the Tanakh. This is what the Lord got for you though. The current illegal, unrecognized state of Israel. Verse 3, here go the point. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. That's everything. So what y'all been doing should come back on. Let's get one more, man. One more, man. Continue to go. Obadiah. Obadiah 1:16. 16, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Let me jump up to 15. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Now them Israelis feeling the effect of war. They citizens. Just like they then implemented or put on them citizens of the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Beirut, Southern Lebanon, Yemen, Syria. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Now let's go back and end it on 1 Samuel 15:3. 1 Samuel 15:3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And with that being said, Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh. We one day closer to the kingdom, Israel. Shalom.